What you have said? There we go. Answer my key.
All right, Tom, if you give me a sound check right quick, let me see your, let me hear you.
Yo.
Oh yeah, you good. All right, I got you up a little bit more than you were. I didn't want to be
Cool.
it too bad. All
All
right,
right, cool.
we're getting ready to start. So, Dee Dee, you
What?
settled? You settled
No, I'm getting a kiwi.
to put in your vodka?
Oh shit! I could have put. Damn it! Where are these good ideas coming all after the fact? No, I'm just gonna eat the kiwi.
I haven't had kiwi in ages.
Yo, Costco got the good golden kiwis. They're sweeter and they're thicker. A thick bitch. Yes. Okay, so let
The
me get my
things that
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Let me get my spoon and I'll be done. Give me about 16 seconds and I'll be ready.
We're holding you to that.
You can count. It's real. I mean it. It was a good estimate.
Anybody watching the Patriots game? Y'all saw the big fight right
Who
before
for?
halftime.
Fight,
It's
fight,
just
fight.
it's just a big skirmish. They was all
Nothing
up in the
happened.
midst there.
Nothing happened.
Fight, fight. You didn't count. See, I'm done. I told you I could do it.
Oh, ready?
Mm?
All right, here we go. In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to episode 154 of the Wrasslecast. I'm your host, Don Delarente. I'm joined as always by my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Dee Dee Jonay.
Hey, friend.
Hey Dee Dee, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good. And we're joined tonight by our special guest. You can follow him on Twitter at Don_Victor. It's the master of the Jordan meme, none other than Don Victor himself. What's up, man?
Yo, what up? How everybody doing?
Oh man, we doing good, doing good. Glad to have you on tonight.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that you can follow the Wrasslecast on Twitter at the Wrasslecast. You can also follow me on Twitter at Don Delarente. You can follow Didi Jonet on Twitter at Didi Jonet. The Wrasslecast is a CSPN production. You can find us on www.cspn.us. You can also find us on wrasslecast.tumblr.com. You can also download and subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher Radio. So we're going to get into a little bit of news, and our only really big news topic this week was the passing of the voice of Memphis wrestling, Mr. Lance Russell. Lance Russell was 91 years old when he passed away this week. Basically, for like 40 years, he was the play-by-play guy for the Memphis studio TV show. So he was very instrumental in bringing Jerry Lawler into the business. Jerry Lawler, as most of you guys know, is a very good artist, a cartoon artist, and what he would do was draw, uh, you know, matches and wrestlers. And Lance Russell had him come on the show when he was just before he got into college, and that's the first time Jerry Lawler had ever been on TV. And Lance Russell got him into the wrestling business. Like I said, he's basically the voice for that whole time that Memphis was a television show, from about, I think it was something around like 1950s into like 1990. He was on TV every week. And, if you guys see any of those old Memphis, interviews or match calls. That's basically, Lance Russell in the middle of just about everything. He had a brief little stint in WCW for about 2 years before he, stopped being, on TV every week, and he would kind of just come in and out here and there. But definitely an icon and a legend in the sport. If you guys are familiar with Gordon Soley and his run in Florida, Lance Russell was kind of his equivalent in Memphis. So definitely a big loss to the wrestling world and announcing and broadcasting in television too, because he got to start in radio and then transferred over to television. So definitely a pioneer in the wrestling business. He will be missed. So at this point, we're going to jump into Monday Night Raw as we had right off the top, we get to start with the match between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Braun hits Seth with a clothesline, then he hits the running power slam to get the win. After the match, Strowman gives Rollins another power slam. Braun goes to leave, but stops, and he goes to beat up Seth Rollins again. When Dean Ambrose comes down, he makes a save. But Braun beats them both up and leaves them both beaten down. And just when it couldn't get any worse, the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, come down and finish off the tag team champions. Don V,
Yo.
the tag team champions could have wore a couple of Jordan faces after this first opening 20 minutes on Monday Night Raw. What do you feel about Braun rehabbing himself after losing to Brock Lesnar by beating up the tag team champions?
Shit, he needed it, but Dean's a good friend because Seth was getting his ass whooped after that. But man, it was a good match overall. It was way better than the Dean and Braun match, and it just made things worse after the Bar came out and further the damage, which would carry over to the rest of the show.
Right, right. Didi, any thoughts, concerns?
No, I was occupied drinking the finest of free liquors on Monday. So,
Oh,
yeah.
nice,
It do say. Yeah, it was interesting.
nice.
Yeah.
Hostile,
Yeah. They had
highbrow.
a they had a cocktail called the Mambo sauce. You DC adjacent, you know what it is. Yeah.
Yes. Did you have your pinky out the whole time?
I did. Absolutely, I did.
So we get a recap of Mickey James and Alexa Bliss from last week. Mickey is walking to her dressing room, and when she gets in there, she's got a walker and some Depends. So Mickey goes to find Alexa, and when the door opens, Nia Jax opens the door, and she's there. And basically, Alexa Bliss makes a match between Nia and Mickey James, and they both agree to fight later tonight. Then we have Elias in the ring. He's singing this song, and he gets interrupted by Titus O'Neil. So we get a match between Titus and Elias. The ref argues with Apollo Crews. That distracts Titus, and Elias hits him with the stun gun off the ropes, and then he hits him with the drift away, and he gets the win. So they keep building up Elias. I don't know where it's going to lead, but he's gotten a bunch of wins in a row here. One of the few people who have not been booked 50-50. So good for him.
Mm-hmm.
And here on the Wrasslecast, we walk with Elias.
True.
So we get Mickey.
Not good for
Okay.
Titus, Brett. Not good for Titus though. But whatever.
Yeah, man. I don't know. They've kind of had something going on there with the Titus brand, and ever since Tozawa lost the title, man, they've been kind of on the back burner. But I thought they were gonna run with it because it was starting to get over.
Yeah, we'll see, but they should. But
Mickey James versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax sets her up on the top rope, but Mickey James fights back with kicks, and then she hits a tornado DDT. She's going for the cover, but then the count gets interrupted by Alexa Bliss. So Mickey James wins by DQ. After the match, Mickey James lays out Alexa Bliss with a slap and a chip kick, and she stands tall. So, what do you think about the Mickey James, Alexa Bliss little feud? Do you like the way this is building?
I do. I don't know if Nia should have been, close to losing at all, even though if it was a tornado DDT. But as far as the feud itself, I like it.
Okay.
What do
Uh,
you think?
yeah, I like it too. It's something fresh for Alexa, since she's basically, you know, like she said, cleaned out the divisions, quote unquote, by beating Bailey and Sasha and doing her best dancing around having to wrestle Nia. So, it's something fresh, and that's always appreciated by me.
And the obvious age difference, it works. So
Right, right, right. Renee interviews Enzo. Enzo is asked for his reaction to what happened to him last week. He just stands there, looks sad, and says nothing. Mickey James is interviewing the back about her win. She says she wants to be the new Raw Women's Champion. Kurt Angle magically appears out of nowhere and grants her a title match at TLC. Kurt Angle, aka Aladdin, gets you anything you ask for.
that easy.
So we have the new tag team of Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan versus the Good Brothers. Jordan gets tossed into the barricade, allowing the Good Brothers to hit the Magic Killer on Matt Hardy, and the Good Brothers get a surprising win on Monday Night Raw.
Mm. Good for them.
Yeah,
I
great
guess.
for them. Like I need them to get one good run before their contract runs out.
How long only got left? Like a year, maybe?
Probably two. I think they signed a 3-year deal.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they just been kind of just stuck in
Lost
place.
and shuffle.
Yeah, yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's not like the tag division of Raw isn't hurting for some fresh faces and some fresh stories, but unfortunately, they just can't get any traction.
At all. They came in with such. Mm, they, they first came in with like the jeans and all that shit. Everybody was excited, but then after that, it's just like fizzled out.
hmm
Mm.
Well, what happened to them, what really hurt them, was getting separated from AJ.
Uh, True.
When they were running with AJ, they had a lot. They had that by proxy from him, and that did
Hmm.
a lot for them. But once he went to SmackDown and they got left on Raw, it just took any of their steam, just totally went away.
True, but do they really need somebody else? I mean, like we could go the Finn route, but I mean they're good on their own.
They are, but I don't think that the WWE centric audience really knows that they're good on their own. So they kind of need the rub from somebody that the crowd is kind of
Got
into.
got you.
Roman Reigns gets interviewed about Rollins and Ambrose getting their asses kicked earlier tonight. He says he's not worried about them, and he knows that they are planning playback. He plans to destroy The Miz tonight and win the Intercontinental title. So we get our IC title match: The Miz versus Roman Reigns. Miz, Axel, and Bo Dallas enter through the crowd like the Shield used to do. Before the match, Reigns takes out Axel and Bo Dallas. He hits him with Superman punches and chases them into the crowd. And then he beats Kurt Axel down with the chair on a ramp. Bo Dallas comes and makes the save, but he uses a Superman punch and he gets a whole bunch of chair shots too. So in the match, The Miz runs into a Superman punch but kicks out at 2 for a near fall. Roman Reigns fires up, but Sheamus and Cesaro pull him to the floor for the DQ. The Miz and the Bar beat down Roman, and they hit him with the Gotch neutralizer. They also hit him with the bro kick. The crowd chants for the Shield, but the Miz hits the skull crushing finale, and then they tease leaving, but return because they said the crowd wanted the Shield, so they gave him the Shield by hitting Roman with the triple power bomb.
Jeez, man. Man, first off, man, Bo and Kurt, man, hated had be y'all. Like, cold world. Fist them in the bushes, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we saw them basically make a live action edit to the program right before our eyes.
I was like, it
Because
needed to be done, but I was like, damn, it was like cold world, yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, man, it could have worked, but they didn't spend the last. If they knew this what they were gonna do 2 months ago, they didn't spend the last 2 months having those guys win matches and build up their credibility so
Mm.
that they could be seen as worthy of being in this feud. But what do you think about the 180 with exchanging Bo and Axel for the bar?
Makes sense.
Hmm. Right,
Makes sense. I mean, as far as like strength and all that kind of stuff, it makes sense.
right, right. So we get
You?
a fin. Well, I think it kind of has more of a linear storyline since they're the former champions, you know, going for the still messing with the current champions, and then the Miz and Roman have their kind of separate personal issue going on. So just to combine those two sets of things going on makes a lot more sense than I guess Mr. Raj. But hate to see Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel lose their spot like that though.
Mm. Back
So
to
we get
Perry.
yeah, hanging out with Kurt Hawkins.
Shit, I would. Look, my bad. Go ahead.
So we get a Finn Balor promo. Finn says he doesn't like to talk. He likes to fight. He says Bray Wyatt likes to play mind games. He doesn't buy into the God crap. He says Bray Wyatt is a coward. Finn Balor says Wyatt lost to the demon and he lost to the man, and he can make all of the excuses he wants. But Balor thinks that he is afraid. So Finn calls out Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is rocking in his rocking chair, rambling about Sister Abigail. Wyatt says Finn lied to him, saying that the demon fuels the man. He says, Bray says he wants to see Balor's true face. Bring the demon, and I will show you my true face. Abigail is dying to meet you. So another cryptic Bray Wyatt promo. He does this. They do some kind of special effects where his face does some weird changing things. So I don't know if this is going to lead to like a House of Horrors match or some type of special stipulation type of match. But yeah, so Finn and Bray round three.
Man, it's the last chance because they're fucking this up for me.
If you're expecting Bray Wyatt to win, I don't
No,
know if they're gonna do right by you.
well, let me see. I think Brock is going to be at the Survivor Series. So say he beats Finn and beat Brock and Bray. I'm just guessing now.
That's interesting. That would be an interesting match. Interesting
Um,
match.
yeah, I mean Bray will take the L, hard L, but still.
I just want them to let Bray Wyatt just finish out this year as a heel and
Make a
coming
face turn.
into Royal Rumble make a face turn.
It's time.
Yeah, it's been past time, especially if they're not going to bring back Harper and Rowan and put together the actual family.
Oh shit! Yeah, what the hell happened to? I forgot about them too.
They got hurt. Well, I know Rowan got hurt. I don't know about Luke Harper. I don't know if he got. I think he might have got hurt too, and so they've both been recovering.
Oh, okay. Shit, I forgot about them.
Well, they're both on SmackDown too, so that's another obstacle. But that doesn't really mean much. They can always pull something where they pull them back over if
Oh, yeah,
need be.
yeah.
So we got Sasha Bay, Boss Bay, and Bailey, aka Huggy Cakes, versus Emma and Alicia Fox. It's always good to see Alicia Fox take those long strides to the ring. Um, Shout out to Classic. That's his fave. Alicia Fox hits a jawbreaker, but as she goes for the tag, Emma gives her the old alligator arms, jumps off the mat. Alicia Fox then turns around, gets caught in the Bailey to belly, and Sasha Banks and Bailey get the win. It's so unfortunate to see that Sasha Banks and Bailey both are like non-existent to these crowds right now. They neither one of them have any kind of pop or interest from the crowd, and so I'm just waiting for them to turn on each other. Like I've been saying for the past 2 months, it seems like right when they get ready to do it, somebody gets hurt or something funky happens and they have to reverse the course. But hopefully soon this will
Yeah,
happen.
you're like sock, like tapping your foot, waiting for you to move and shit. It's like, can you her, can you hurt this up? But yeah, I mean, but yeah, I felt nothing. It was just like
It's unfortunate,
it was
man,
just
because I
yeah.
mean, you know what I'm saying? They're two of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and right now they're just ice cold.
Oh man, it's terrible. I mean, and on one hand, like I can see Sasha like kind of losing now. I mean, because she's like in a not really like face and all that kind of stuff. Bailey was
Hmm.
easy money.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
that was.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say they just gave Bailey too much too soon. See, the thing with Bailey is she should have been an underdog for this whole time. And then you have her the old Daniel Bryan, where they keep holding her back, holding her back, holding her back, holding her back, and that just makes the crowd get more and more behind her. And then she would have definitely been a can't miss, but they let her get all that out of the gate, and then Alexa Bliss beat her 3 times in a row, and
Mm,
so that just basically killed her.
definitely, it had to be her. But yeah,
So we get Enzo promo. Enzo says that he put 205 Live on the map and made it relevant because it's the main event of Raw 2 weeks in a row. He runs down the
ain't nothing wrong.
cruiserweights, claiming that it took the whole division to beat him down to the chance of you deserve it. He says he does deserve the title, and if having success is wrong, he doesn't want to be right. He knows he's money and making bank. He earned that money and everyone else is jealous. He's a star and a ratings draw and has charisma and athleticism. He says his back is sore from carrying the division, and he didn't have to wait in line for the title, and the rest can fall in line. Last week, they put their hands on him and broke the clause he had, and now that they can't challenge for the title, he has a new clause, and if anyone touches him tonight, they will be fired. So now he has no opponents, and he beat Neville down on 205. Neville arrives with the rest of the roster, and Enzo mocks them all. They surround Enzo as he threatens to have them fired. They trap him in the ring, and then he shows off his new claws as he continues to run them down one by one. he, uh, you know, he told Tony Nese he had more abs than brain cells. He told Brian Kendrick he looks like a homeless man, and if he was out there panhandling on the street, he didn't have no dimes for him. He called Noam Dar or garden gnome. He told Mustafa Ali, his parents, the worst thing they could ever did for him, starting off in life, was name him after the Lion King.
Shit.
He talked about Cedric Alexander not having any charisma
Tight ass
again.
shirt.
Yeah, because his medium shirt, he called Drew Gulak Captain Underpants and told him he was glad he wore a suit because soon he'll be up there with Corey Graves. Yeah, he just put the ether on everybody. Uh,
One by one.
so Kurt Angle comes down. Kurt Angle says that none of the guys out there can challenge Enzo for the title, but Angle has signed a new cruiserweight, Kalisto. So Kalisto comes down. Kalisto attacks Enzo, and he eventually lays Enzo out with the Salida del Sol.
About
Um,
time.
wasn't really hyped about Kalisto. Would have been awesome if that would have been like a day of Tommy, or even better if it would have been Johnny Wrestling. But they still got some unfinished business in NXT. So we
Mhm.
get Kalisto.
Yeah.
Seeing Kalisto makes me. My first thought was, where the hell Sin Cara been? But I think he might have got released.
Yeah.
He's
I
in the
forgot.
back beating up people still.
Fight Club.
Hmm.
So the show
No, okay, so
ends.
great.
Oh,
So
great.
how many losses how many losses do you think Sakara has had though in the back though?
Oh, he's undefeated in the back.
Like in that
All
yeah, in
his
that
fights
fight
have been documented, and he's
like in
he's
the
the
Fight
winner. He's a,
Club.
yeah, winner by KO.
No, you're breaking up,
Yeah,
dude.
I was going to say that he's undefeated in the back. He's the man. So the show ends as we're in the locker room. Reigns is hurting from his ass kicking. Ambrose arrives, and so does Rollins. They stare each other down. They nod at each other, and the show ends. So full on Shield in the same vicinity together. They look like that they're ready to band together and deal with the problem known as Miz and the Bar. So it'll be interesting next Monday to see kind of where this goes with those three guys and how they are booked and the way the story moves forward. So I thought this was a pretty good addition to Monday Night Raw. Really enjoyed the Alexa Bliss, Mickey James stuff, especially with the Walker and the Depends in the locker room. That was funny. Enzo with the ether of all the cruiserweights was good. I thought Miz and Roman Reigns actually had a really good match. It was a really good wrestling match, even with the ankle they shot that led to the ending that we got. I thought that in ring those two guys were really putting on the show. So not a bad addition to Monday Night Raw.
No, I agree. I thought it was better than last week, so we're good.
Yeah. So at this time, we're going to turn it over to our SmackDown Matters correspondent, Ms. Didi Jonay. Tell us about this week in SmackDown.
The things, man, they happened. It just happened, and they also happened. Oh shit, that is not the right article. Damn.
You
I
want
was
me to?
like, where are the reviews? Like, I can't, like, I know what I clicked on. Sometimes the links, they lie. Yeah, I
You want me
clicked
to
on live
guide you through it?
results and then they lie. No, I don't. See, now the link worked. Thank you. I appreciate you, though. They're in Glendale, Arizona. No, they're not. What the fuck is this article? Please help me, Donald.
They're in Denver, Colorado again for the second night in a row, as that's where Monday Night Raw was.
The
Nakamura begins the
hell?
show with an in-ring promo with Renee Young. Nakamura says sticks and stones may break his bones, but the words will never harm him. That's when the Singh brothers come out. They have a brand new entrance, separate from Jinder's entrance, with a whole bunch of lights and stuff. So they come out, they interrupt Nakamura. They basically introduce Jinder like they always do, but instead of actually coming down the ramp, Jinder comes from the crowd, jumps Nakamura from behind. It's a 3-on-1 fight. Nakamura tries his best, but he ends up getting stopped from giving Jinder the Kinshasa by the Singh brothers. Jinder then gives Nakamura the Kalash, and they leave Nakamura laid out in the middle of the ring. So that was the top of the show. It was cool to see Jinder get his hands on Nakamura after last week where they did the reverse. So building a little heat for Jinder coming into the match.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have Carmella and Natty versus Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Didi, you guess your notes good now?
Yeah, I don't know why they tried to shade me like that. Had me looking all unprofessional. That was nobody's business that I don't write my own notes. Like, I really don't appreciate that shit. But yeah, so there's a pre-tape segment where Natty warns Carmella not to cash in her contract tonight or on Sunday, calls Ellsworth the dog, and then he barks at her. Then she calls Carmella a female dog, aka a biatch. But in the Attitude Era anymore. Even though you can say shit on cable, they don't take it. I would, but they don't. Anyway, they
You can
chain
say a lot worse
Ellsworth
than
to
that
a
on
ring
cable.
post. Eesh. Huh?
Oh, I just said you can say a lot worse things than that on cable. Wait till we get to Lucha Underground.
Well, I mean, now you can. You used to couldn't do all of that. I appreciate that people take advantage of it, though. Or then, like, oh, I was watching cable. I don't mean to digress. I was watching something on cable at like 2 in the afternoon, and they were dropping the shit word, and I was like, oh, y'all are real free with the little FCC buttons now. Look at you. Talk about shit, shit, shit. I forget what movie it was. It was a lot of shits. Anyway, excuse me if I wasn't entertained by this match. NT How. It's a tag team match. Natty and Carmella versus Charlotte and Becky. Natty and Carmella work over Becky. Charlotte makes the hot tag, hits Natty with chops, knee drop, exploder suplex. Carmella breaks up the cover at a 2 count, let's say. Then Becky goes after her, but then Carmella yanks her out of the ring, then hits her with the briefcase. This distracts Charlotte. allowing Natty to apply the sharpshooter, and Charlotte tapped out. That's that. Next is Mike Kanellis versus Bobby Roode, and it's just that Bobby. Anyway, he won with a spinebuster and a glorious DDT. They explained that Maria's not there because she's pregnant, but that's not the point. The point is Ziggles comes out afterwards, says he wants to test out a new entrance for Hell in a Cell. He comes out with a drum, but the drum is like a basic bitch, weak ass Caucasian drum. No shade, I'm just saying. And then he tosses some confetti, blows an air horn. He congratulates Bobby, calls him kid for having a cool entrance and weaseling his way into the WWE after all these years. Ziggles says he'll have the greatest entrance ever on Sunday and would expose Rude for being nothing more than an entrance. Then Ziggles leaves, but Bobby grabs the mic and he tells him that his entrance is terrible and he's going to show Ziggles how it's done. So he does his glorious and the movement and the timing of the lights and the music, and it's just perfect or glorious. Yeah. How'd you feel about it? Did you feel it was glorious?
It's
No?
always glorious.
Thank you. Yes, I
Anytime Bobby
agree.
Roode is on your TV, it's glorious.
I agree. I agree. Never more so than when the music's going, though.
Right. Now, see, my thing is on Sunday, you know what Dolph gonna do, right?
What, hit the glorious music?
Yeah, he gonna mock it.
I mean, does that mean I get to hear it twice? This might be a win-win.
Yeah, you might.
I'm not mad at it. Glorious. Da-da-da-da. Listen, I advise anybody who hasn't seen the making of Glorious, the the entrance music, to watch it because those men are into it, and I think that's why the music's so good. As you can tell, they were like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, you know, they're down, they're ready. But anyway, next was the Usos New Day promo. Um, they say that only two members of New Day will be inside Hell in a Cell. The other one is going to watch outside while eating bootios. They compare it to the Uso Penitentiary, and they might as well lock every tag team in the division in there with them. And that is when they will become five-time champions. New Day interrupts. Kofi plugs the underwear, which are actual things. And then they say they've left everybody in all the past few months having the best match every night, even if they were on the pre-show. Who put them on the pre-show? Say
Oh,
no to
that was
pre-shows.
yeah, that was one of the ones that you didn't see.
Because why? It was on
It was on the
the
pre-show.
pre-show.
Yeah, it was like the best match of the damn night, except for the main event.
Pretty much.
And they put it on the pre-show. That's so disrespectful. I would feel so disrespected. I would be like, do you know who I am? Pre-show? Me. Anyway. So there's a New Day Rocks chant, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Backstage, Jinder cuts a promo. Blah, 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 blah. The kickoff show for Hell in a Cell will feature Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Hype Bros. Um, So you already know who I'm picking for who you got. And the return of the Fashion Files, which has been delayed one more week. So hopefully it'll be like a double episode, maybe. Maybe we'll get like 5-10 strong minutes of Fashion Files to make up for all the episodes they've cheated us out of.
Hmm.
Maybe. 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 Anyway, next, Ty Dillinger versus Baron of the Corbins. Ty won out of nowhere with a small package. And then almost immediately after, AJ gets on the screen, calls him a jackass as he squandered yet another opportunity and said maybe if Baron had pushed himself harder, he would have beaten John Cena or successfully cashed in his Money in the Bank contract. The crowd, assholes that they are, chant, "Where's your briefcase?" AJ said Baron is too busy throwing tantrums and taking shortcuts that won't work on him. Next is a segment for. Do they really? Does she call herself Dana Warrior?
Yes, because the
Yep.
Ultimate Warrior changed his name to Warrior so he could use it.
He changed his first name to Warrior or his last name to Warrior?
It's just Warrior.
What's his
Yeah.
first name? Ultimate?
I'm not sure about that because I think Vince has that actually trademarked. So he can't use the Ultimate Warrior part, but he could use the
So
Warrior
the
part.
Ultimate Warrior changed his name to Warrior, which triggered his wife into being Dana Warrior. And I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but that is the dumbest fucking name I've ever heard of. But anyway, not about that. The rest of the women's roster for SmackDown is out. They present three women with title belts because you know they're breast cancer survivors and they're awesome. And it's Breast Cancer Month and or Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I should say. And ladies, check your titties and let's move on. Rusev talks admonishes Randy for ruining Rusev Day, but he says that he's okay with it because there will be many more Rusev days to come. He says Sunday is going to be a Rusev day when he beats Randy, and the next day when Randy has to look his family in the eye. Then Orton interrupts and nobody cares. So then Randy fights Aiden English. Orton wins with an RKO. They call it out of nowhere. I knew it was coming.
But you
That's
forgot
Randy's
about
skill
the
set. RKO. I didn't forget anything. It's not in the notes. What?
oh, Rusev
What did I say?
distracted Randy Orton. I'm trying to get you a drink in.
It's not in the notes.
Oh, okay. It's in my notes, but okay.
Listen, we already know I didn't write these, so they're not in the notes. Russo was about to attack Randy after, but Orton kind of stared him down. Next, Sammy's walking around. He's fine. Apparently, whatever happened to him last week was just temporary. Because, you know, Peter and the chicken, they're never going to die. They're fine. So he approaches Shane backstage. He says he's hurt, but he'll be fine. He warned Shane what was to come. He said, "This isn't an obnoxious Kevin. This isn't snarky Kevin. This is something totally different." Sammy says he was the best man at Kevin's wedding, and look what happened. And then Shane's like, "Thanks, I can take care of myself." You know, white men, they don't listen to nobody. They're fine.
Why everybody be sunning Sami Zayn when he be trying to give him that good advice? Last week, Kevin Owens sunned him when he tried to give him some advice. This week, Shane done gave him the stiff arm when he tried to give him
I
some
don't know
advice.
if it's racism because Sammy's like spicy white, or if it's because Sammy's ginger, but they just don't treat him with respect, and I don't appreciate it personally. But you know, honestly, men don't listen anyway. So why would we be shocked that Shane and Kevin don't? You know, really?
True.
Would we
Good
really
point.
expect them to listen to good advice? Oh, sure, I'll take it into consideration. Nah, ain't that kind of guy. But the episode ends with a face to face between Shane O'Mac and Kevin Owens. Shane calls out Kevin. Kevin doesn't show up. He calls Kevin a coward, blah, blah, blah. Then Kevin appears in the crowd. Shane tells him to come into the ring, but Owen says he doesn't want to be in Denver anymore, so he's going to leave. Shane calls him a coward. Kevin acts like he's gonna like stop, but then he keeps going. Shane goes after him, walks through the crowd into the concourse. You do the thing where you look to your left, you walk to the right, and where's Kevin? Oh my God, he's to the left. And so yeah. Fights. There's a power bomb through a table at the merchandise booth. Kevin goes back into the crowd, into the ring. There was some horrible girl with a horrible version of twerking that was awful. Um, Orton says he's fine with Falls Count Anywhere because he wants to beat up Shane in the ring, outside of the ring, and outside of the cell if he has to. Kevin wants to rip the flesh off of Shane and threaten to throw him off the cell, but this time there will be no getting up. This is bullshit. Shane always get back up. Shane crazy. The crowd buzz as Shane comes back into the crowd. He walks slowly down the steps. Owens tells him to stay put because, again, men don't listen. He keeps walking. Owens goes after Shane. Shane fights back, catches him with a clothesline off the barricade. Then Kevin tosses him over the announce table. Shane makes it to his feet. Shane fights back again, but this time Owens knocks him down with a super kick. He's about to leave, comes back to headbutt Shane. The referees plead with Kevin to stop, but again, men don't listen. So as Shane gets to his knees, Kevin grabs him and gives him a pop-up powerbomb. They play Owen's music. He leaves. But Shane is able to sit up, get up, whatever, and point at Owens as the show ends. And that is how your go home show for Hell in a Cell ended.
Man, that beatdown was something.
Shane goes down
Yeah.
SmackDown.
I wonder what they had to do with all that merch they messed up. Do
I mean,
like
they probably weren't going to sell it nowhere.
do you get like 50% off of it?
They probably charge more because it's got Shane O'Mac sweat on it.
And Shane didn't help Kevin Owens out that much when he gave him
at,
that power bomb either. Boy,
at all,
he
man.
almost got dropped on his head. Yeah,
Well,
it was a little rough.
almost doesn't count.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Only in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Hand grenade.
So, anything else that you liked about this SmackDown personally, Dee Dee?
I liked that um Bobby Roode's music. I really liked that I got to hear it. That was the highlight for me.
All right.
Glorious. Da-da-da-da.
I'm
I'm a
I'm really
stan. I'm sorry.
I'm really feeling the Rusev and Aiden English little thing they got going on. I'm really digging it. I think they go good together. So hopefully they keep it up and they find some way to beat All Lives Matter Orton this weekend.
One can only hope.
So this time, just let you know that this episode of the Wrasslecast is being brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Personally recommend an audiobook of your choice available at audible.com. You guys can choose from some cool pro wrestling books like Best in the World and What I Have, No Idea by Chris Jericho, Sabernacker, brand new book by Jim Ross, My Life in Wrestling, Silent Gesture, the autobiography of Tommy Smith by Tommy Smith. So it's just a couple of titles that are available through Audible that you can try out, download for free, and you can also try out the service for 30 days by supporting Audible and the Wrestlecast. So now we'll go to 205 Live really quick. Kalisto says that getting the shot on 205 Live is a huge chance for him, and he puts over the hardworking cruiserweights. Then Enzo arrives. He does his usual shtick. He calls Kalisto the luckiest luchador around and runs down his ring gear. He then says that no one would buy Kalisto masks, but thanks to the Zoe show, you'll be able to buy those masks because he's making the division mean something. Kalisto then cuts him off and shows Enzo video of how he beat Neville for the title. Enzo says that he's forgotten more than Kalisto will ever know and makes fun of Kalisto for getting beaten up by Braun Strowman. Enzo calls him a lucha letdown ever since he lost the U.S. title. Enzo says the haters call him a disgrace and then ask him for an autograph. Enzo then says that Davari will hand Kalisto his first loss on 205 Live tonight. So we get the match, Kalisto versus Arya Davari. Davari fights off the Salida del Sol and hits the spine buster. He then hits the frog splash, but only gets a near fall. Davari picks up Kalisto, but Kalisto hits the Salida del Sol, and Kalisto gets the win. Next, we get Drew Gulak. He comes to the ring. He cuts his promo. He's saying that he's trying to create a Drewtopia, and that was ruined by Tozawa last week. He then promotes the network, and then he wants to deliver the rest of his PowerPoint presentation. So we get slide number 8, which is no flipping. And then Mustafa Ali comes down and interrupts the presentation. So we have Mustafa Ali versus Drew Gulak. Mustafa Ali gets a cradle, but he gets sent into the turnbuckles. Gulak then suplexes Ali into the corner. Tozawa distracts Gulak, and that allows Mustafa Ali to hit a head kick and the imploding 450 splash to get the win. Brian Kendrick interview where he says he feels sorry for Enzo. He's been there when the locker room turns on you, and he will stand with Enzo. But as far as Cedric Alexander, well, Cedric Alexander then comes in from the back and beats the shit out of Brian Kendrick. Basically, stomps on his knee a whole bunch of times. Basically, incapacitates him.
Did not see that
So,
coming.
yeah, yeah, Cedric Alexander with a little bit of a mean streak this week. So we get Cedric Alexander versus Jack Gallagher. Gallagher goes under the ring and comes out on the other side and attacks Cedric Alexander. He rolls Cedric back into the ring and he gets out William III. Well, Cedric Alexander stomps on William III, picks it up, and beats Gallagher with it and gets disqualified. After the match, they brawl on the floor and into the timekeeper's area. The refs try to separate them, but they can't. And finally, Brian Kendrick comes out to save Jack Gallagher as Cedric Alexander stands tall. So it was really cool to see Cedric Alexander kind of have some mean streak to him and not just be, the happy to be here guy. So that was really cool. Jack Gallagher is now wrestling in his attire and not his little colorful trunks since he has made the heel turn. So that was very noticeable this week. Um, Drew Gulak is my favorite part of the show, though. His promos are good, and he has good matches, even though he loses most of them. But the promo work is out of this world, and those damn slides. Hopefully, we get all 278 of them eventually. So, Don V, had anything stood out to you on this episode?
Nah, nah, man. Drew Gulak was pretty good as usual. The match was kind of sloppy though, but whatever. But yeah, the highlight of the show was Cedric Alexander though, because not coming at all, and
Yeah.
he was like fine, and then being with the umbrella, I was like, okay. And then it was like what another like 3 minutes of the strip, toss him all over the place. Yeah,
hmm
mm, no, that was good. I liked it.
So we're gonna move over to NXT, where Ruby Riott gets her rematch against the Iconic Duo. Nikki Cross joins the match about halfway through. Ruby gives Nikki a blind tag, and then Ruby hits a missile dropkick on both Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. Ruby then hits the Pele kick on Billy Kay, and Ruby Riott gets the win. This is going to be very interesting to kind of see where this Nikki Cross Ruby Riott kind of association leads. Um, just kind of maybe they'll interview Nikki Cross and they'll kind of figure out why she's helping her because I mean Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross aren't cool with each other, so we got to find out Nikki Cross's motivation. So that'll be interesting. Next, we get a Lars Sullivan promo on his match next week versus Danny Burch. Then we get Zelina Vega, aka Thea Trinidad, and her fine self. She cuts a promo about Steven Regal giving Johnny Gargano a rematch with Cien Almas next week. Then we get the debut of Leo Rush of ROH fame versus Aleister Black. As Aleister Black is coming to the ring, the Velveteen Dream attacks Leo Rush, beats him down, and gives Leo the big elbow drop, which Murrow refers to as the Purple Rainmaker. Aleister Black finally makes his way to the ring, and then the Velveteen Dream slides out, demanding that Aleister Black say his name. But Aleister Black refuses to look or acknowledge the Velveteen Dream. This is going to be so much fun. I hate that they wasted Leo Rush's debut as a part of just shooting this angle, but I mean, everybody
Hmm.
who debuts in NXT loses anyway, so I guess that's better than him taking just a straight up pinfall by
Right.
getting destroyed by the big elbow. But the whole contrast of the Velveteen Dream and his flamboyance versus Aleister Black and his dark, brooding, mooding self. Oh, this is just so good. It's so visual as far as like Velveteen Dream being so flamboyant and the mannerisms, and then Aleister Black just being so stoic. I'm really excited to see this match and build up to NXT Houston.
That's the angle of the whole like brand, really.
Mm-hmm.
Last That's a very good. I mean, yeah. And as far as Velveteen Dream goes, like they're handling his character very well up to now.
Right, right. Well, I think with NXT, what helps NXT is they don't show everybody every week. So it's been about
Right.
2 or 3 weeks since he's actually been on the program. So you get to the point where you're like, man, I can't wait to see him, and then they give you just a
Mm,
short burst, so you always are wanting more. So Triple H knows what he's doing, big time.
definitely.
We get Kari Sane, winner of the Mae Young Classic, versus Aaliyah. Kari hits the sliding clothesline, and then Kari hits the insane elbow, and she gets the win. Just to basically a match so
Showcase.
everybody remembers that she's still here and she's still good. And Aaliyah is getting better in the ring, so she did put up a pretty good fight. But you know, Kari Sane is continuing her role towards being one of the contenders in the eventual four-way for the women's title.
Mm,
Our main event of the evening was for the NXT title, as we had Roderick Strong versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre hits Roddy with the Future Shock DDT. He follows that up with the Claymore, and he gets the win. Drew McIntyre is still your NXT champion. This is a very good match. It's probably the best match Roderick Strong has had since he's been in NXT. He does this freaking backbreaker and he throws Drew McIntyre on the stairs. That shit looked like it hurt a bunch.
it did. That was an excellent face on face match, man. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, it was a really good match. After the match, Roddy walks back up the ramp. He's kind of staring back at Drew, who's celebrating in the ring. And then the Undisputed, who is, of course, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, come out on the ramp. They basically, pat Roddy Strong on the back, basically telling him, hey, what I'm saying, good effort. You probably should have won that. And Drew McIntyre is looking up at the ramp, kind of confused, like, are you running with these dudes now? What the hell's going on? So that's how NXT ended. Now, spoiler alert. So if anybody is, keeping up with NXT week to week and don't want to be spoiled, last night, which would be Wednesday, they had their tapings. They kind of taped like 2 weeks in advance. And it was announced and put out on Twitter that NXT Houston, the main event, will feature the War Games. Now, there may not be some people who are not quite as hype about the War Games as I am because they've never seen it before. They don't even know what it is. So hopefully in the next few weeks, if you watch NXT, and because I'm not going to spoil who's going to be in it, but just to know that the match is going to be the main event for NXT Houston. Hopefully they do a really good job in describing it, giving it, showing the backstory, the concept of what the match is. Just for those who have never seen it, what it is basically two rings side by side with basically a Hell in a Cell over both of the rings. And the match either has 4 men on a team or 5 men on a team, usually. And what happens is they do a coin toss to see who gets the first choice. So you get two guys start from each team, and every 2 minutes, the door opens, and whoever wins the coin toss, they get the next person to enter. So they get the advantage, 2-on-1. Then 2 minutes goes by, then the other team gets their guy, come in to even up the odds. So you do that until all 8 or 10 men are in the ring, and then the match beyond officially begins. There's no pinfalls. There's no countouts. You can only win by submission, surrender, or there's one more way you can win, but you can't. No pins. Everybody has to like give up on your team, or somebody has to your team has to surrender, or somebody has to give up. So it's one of the most brutal matches there's ever been created. People think Hell in a Cell is the ultimate cage match. It has nothing on this match. Um, one of Stone Cold Steve Austin's best matches in WCW was a War Games where the Dangerous Alliance wrestled against Sting had a team that they wrestled up against, and it's one of the bloodier um, War Games matches that you'll see. So if you guys have the network, go check that one out. That's a pretty good one. The very first one is probably the most famous one, where it was the Four Horsemen with their manager JJ Dillon versus the Road Warriors, Dusty Rhodes, and Nikita Koloff. And I forgot who their fifth person was that they had on their team. I'm trying to see if I can remember. I know it was
I forgot.
Nikita, Dusty, the Road Warriors, and they had one more person on their side. Oh, Paul Ellering was their fifth
Uh,
guy because the Four Horsemen had JJ. So yeah, basically, this match ended JJ Dillon's physical wrestling career as Road Warrior Hawk gave him the Doomsday Device, separated his shoulder. It's pretty nasty. But yeah, so I can't wait for the War Games. I can't wait to see how this plays out, how this looks. Um, Hopefully Triple H goes all out and they do the two rings and everything like that. Um, and in a couple of weeks we'll figure out who are going to be the teams involved. But yeah, it's big news on the internet last night. Um, Triple H is really doing like a Dusty Rhodes tribute right now, as they're going to have Clash of the Champions come back as a pay-per-view. That was a Dusty Rhodes creation to go head to head against WrestleMania. They're bringing back Starcade in November, which was basically the very first ever big super show that was created by Dusty Rhodes. And then War Games, of course, may be Dusty's greatest creation that he ever came up with. His most famous match that he ever created. So, big up to Triple H and NXT for bringing back the War Games.
NXT cheating straight up.
Yeah, nobody's gonna beat, man. SummerSlam, whatever they had planned for SummerSlam, it's gonna be dwarfed again by NXT Takeover.
Survivor Series, but I got you.
Uh, yeah, Survivor Series is gonna get dwarfed by Takeover again, just like usually what happens whenever they have the NXT show is always the one that blows people away, and they have a hard time living up to that on the main roster the next day. So I don't see this changing.
Jeez.
Moving into night number two of Ultima Lucha Tres on Lucha Underground. Didi, I need you to come in here and talk me through this beginning part because
Uh,
Evilise and Jeremiah Crane are in the back. Of course, they're an item. They're arguing.
mhm, mhm.
Then Jeremiah Crane does the thing that most men won't do: confess that he's in love with Katrina. It's like he could, be a hoe and love them all, but nah,
Right.
he gonna try to, be upfront with it.
Be honest. Yes.
Yes, yes. So they
Yes.
argue some more. That leads to Jeremiah Crane calling Evilise a bitch,
Oh,
and she promptly gives him a super kick right into the toilet stall.
as you do.
Do you think that she handled the situation correctly, or did she overreact?
Absolutely no. You don't tell me you're in love with some demon chick and then call me a bitch and think there are no consequences. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, so that was a very, very, very hot way to start the match. Jeremiah Crane had his jaw checked, chin checked, flew right into the toilet stall. So we get start off in ring action with the battle royal for the unique opportunity promised by Dario Cueto. We have a whole bunch of people in this match. Eventually, the Mac gives PJ Black a stunner, throws him over the top rope, and then Mac wins the battle royal. Dario Cueto comes out of his office and says Mac has earned a unique opportunity. He has earned a shot at the trio's title next week. But then Dario picks his partners. Dario says that his partners will be Killshot and Dante Fox, if there's anything left of them since they went to hell last week. So, We could get maybe a like a New Day trios champion with Daria, with Killshot, Dante Fox, and the Mac. I mean, they're a bunch of oddball pieces mixed together, but it could work. We get Katrina versus Evilise. Evilise hits Katrina with the stone and gives Katrina a DDT DD and gets the win.
Yay.
Make the DDT great again.
It
Jeremiah,
looks different. It looks different in Lucha Underground.
it looks like he could actually win a match in Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Jeremiah Crane comes down and he attacks Evilise from behind with the hammer and he's trying to re injure her ankle. For those
Mm.
who don't know, Evilise suffered a broken ankle. That's why she hasn't really been on this season of Lucha Underground that much because she was recovering. But yeah, Jeremiah Crane brought this hammer out and was going to work on her, trying to injure her again. So not cool. Not cool at all. What do you think about Katrina as a wrestler? This is our first time really seeing her wrestle.
Eh,
Do you think she did good? She did okay?
I thought she was fine. She didn't seem awkward to me, but then again, I don't know. She is a wrestler though, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, then yeah, that makes sense. And I didn't notice anything awkward about her.
Okay. The outfit was good. I really like the outfit.
I bet you did.
So we get our main event of the evening: Phoenix versus Marty the Moth and a mask versus hair match. Okay, so Melissa tells Marty that she's in love with him and will run away with him. Marty pulls Melissa in the ring, but Melissa slaps Marty and kicks him in the balls. That allows Phoenix to level Marty with the super kick. Then Phoenix heads up top and hits the 450 splash. Melissa helps Phoenix cover Marty, and Phoenix gets the win. So, of course, as a stipulation, Marty must lose his hair. But Marty tries to escape his haircut. Melissa tells him to come back down and don't be a pussy. Mariposa arrives at the top of the stairs, and Marty thinks it's all good. And all of a sudden, Mariposa lays out Marty with the chair shot. She handcuffs him to the railing. Then Mariposa brings out the haircutting supplies. She gives them to Melissa, and Melissa and Phoenix begin to cut Marty's hair. And they basically, cut the long ends off first that they can with the scissors, and then they end up giving them a Mr. Burns with the, streak right down the middle. So Marty is all embarrassed, and Phoenix kept his mask, kept his woman, but he probably
I
lost
mean,
about 2 liters of blood.
ish. Kept his mask ish. It was mostly torn off.
Yeah, yeah. There's a spot where Marty rips the mask and then he drops him because he exposed the turnbuckle, and he drops him on this exposed turnbuckle.
Mm.
And yeah, Phoenix is bleeding so bad. Oh my gosh. This
Like a
is,
faucet.
yes, like a faucet. And then there's one point where Marty gets some scissors and it's like, hey, I hadn't done enough damage, and grinds the scissors into Phoenix's face. And that's what actually made Melissa get up on the ring apron and be like, yo, you got to cut this out. Um, yeah, the amount of blood that was on the mat after this match was just like, oh my gosh, somebody please take this man to the back so they can, pump some blood back into his system because he's about to pass out. Yeah, if y'all saw the ladder match between Jericho and Shawn Michaels, where Shawn Michaels cut himself and was bleeding really bad, and basically is the reason why Vince basically outlawed blood. It's because it was so bad. That's about what this was like. This was so bad. But that was our Lucha Underground for this week. So I was really worried when Melissa got in the ring and he like flipped her over. I was like, man,
You're
why
so
they got
nervous. Calm
I'm always nervous. I'm
down.
always nervous when they're around Melissa. Like Pentagon, is always hovering around. He makes me nervous. Marty always has made me nervous when it comes to Melissa. I just don't want to see nothing happen to her.
You're so nervous. She'll be all right.
She's my favorite person on this whole show.
see that.
It's like, the wrestlers are great. Katrina's awesome and the Mac and all this, but yeah, nobody I tuned in for more than Melissa every week. So we've got two more nights, Ultima Lucha Tres to go. Um, so next week we'll get another set of high quality matches.
Mm,
At this time, it's time for us to preview this Sunday's upcoming Hell in a Cell. So the hashtag for this Sunday will be hashtag Cell Therapy Matters, just like the Goody Mob song, Cell Therapy. So
I was wondering what the context was.
yes, we will give this hashtag. We will give the acknowledgement to the boss, Classic Material, for coming up with this suggestion. So thank you, boss, for helping out with the hashtag for
Mm,
this Sunday. So again, that's Cell Therapy Matters for a hashtag this Sunday for Hell in a Cell. Now, of course, we have to start off with the hashtag Say No to Pre-shows.
that's
As
right.
our kickoff match, as Dee Dee told us earlier, is Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Hype Bros, Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley. So we'll start with our guest, Don Victor. Who you got?
Benjamin and Gable.
All right. Dee Dee, who you got?
I have Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable.
And I'm going to make that a clean sweep. I think they're going to win as well. I think this may be the last night for the Hype Bros.
Aww.
Now, who would you
I'm
who
sad.
who would you side with more, DD? Would you be a Zack Ryder guy or a Mojo Rawley guy if they split up?
Um, I still remember the petty thing that Mojo did at that last little Royal Rumble type match that they had. So
Hmm.
I'm at this moment still a ride or die gal.
All right,
You like that, don't
I
you?
did. That was very good. That was very good.
Thank you, thank you.
Our next match, glorious Bobby Roode versus Dolph Gimmick Infringement Ziggler. So, DD, who you got?
I have what's what the line say? I have Ziggles. Of course I don't. I have Bobby Roode.
Don V, who you got, man?
Bobby.
This is going to be a very interesting game this tonight because I've got Bobby Roode as well. This actually is kind of a predictable card. It looks like the undercard anyway. Next up, we have All Lives Matter, Randy Orton versus Rusev Day. It's Rusev Day. Don V, who you got?
Rusev.
All right. Dee we know who you got.
Same. Who do you have, Don?
I'm gonna play the game and say Randy Orton.
You such a hater.
I like to win. I like to be a winner, not a hater.
Mm.
What
Rusev,
do we
Rusev, and
have
you
here?
have to make my thing.
What do we have here?
Cup of haters. Cannot believe you chose all lives just to win the game. Go ahead.
We have our United States title match, and that's going to be Baron Corbin versus the phenomenal AJ Styles, the renter of the house that Didi Jonay built.
Thank you. Thank you. I like that title.
Didi, who you got?
I low key kind of feel like Baron's gonna win, but I'm not picking him in that terrible hairline. So AJ it is.
Do you think he would be better off if he just went bald? Do you think he would? Do you think he could pull it off? Is he one of these people who just has to keep what he has because he won't look good
He's
bald?
it's gonna depend on that slope of the back of his head, which I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
And it's gonna depend on he's got like neck rolls. If he's got neck rolls or like a flat back head, then I guess you gotta just keep the ponytail and just suck it up. But if he knows he has a fairly normal head shape, then I'm gonna need for him to just keep it moving because it's sad. Or he can just wear a hat all the time because he looks very good in little beanies. Beanies
Can't
are his friend.
can't wrestle in the beanie though.
Why can't you? They could sew it on like a weave hat.
Wow.
They
Get
could.
get a chin strap for his beanie to keep it on.
Yeah. Look, all you gotta do is have one braid around the middle, a couple little. Listen, just like you could sew in a weave, you could sew on the hat. It's possible. Trust
That's
me.
funny. I do trust you because I know nothing about weave, and whatever you say, I believe you.
It's real. Like they might have to add a track. Like maybe they just need to braid up his whole head and then put the beanie on, and then like have a track to secure the beanie, and then have a track to make it look like his head. Listen, I could make this happen for him. I'm just, I just want him to look his aesthetic best. That's all. It'd be
All
easier if
right.
we just cut the hair, but you know.
Yeah, probably. You think a buzz cut would work, or he would have to ball it all the way off?
I mean, he could buzz for a little bit, but then it's gonna be the same thing where a bald man's head is smooth where he's balding, as opposed to where he just chooses to be bald. Like
Yeah.
those follicles are discernibly different.
Yes. Yes, they are.
I know, and I know y'all know too, because y'all are manly men. Y'all know about bald heads. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I brush my hair in the morning, and I'm looking like, might have about 3 or 4 more good years with this right here.
right.
I'm,
So it's like he could do it in transition, but he just need to go and cut it off.
I'm already done, man. I already balled my shit up. I'm done.
You done? It's real.
It's,
And you really have to make sure you do it before it looks like it has to look like a choice. Even if we all know better. Like it's just better if, oh yeah, I chose to be bald. Not
Right.
like not like that hairline hit Stevie Wonder and I ain't had no choice. Like,
oh,
Don
sh-
V, who you got
hey.
between Baron and AJ?
Oh
Oh,
shit.
I'm
AJ,
sorry.
Oh no,
AJ.
this is what people
No, it
tune in for.
matters. It matters.
Yeah, they tune in for the off the wrestling conversation. I'm going to choose AJ as well.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
We have our SmackDown Women's Title match: the challenger Charlotte Flair versus the champion Natalia. Don V, who you got?
Charlotte.
All right, Didi,
How long Natty been the champion?
one pay-per-view, two maybe. I think she won at SummerSlam, so I think this is her
Yeah,
first title defense. I think.
I got Natty.
All right,
Done.
I'm gonna say Natty as well. I'm kind of thinking it might be like some shenanigan, or we might get old
Mm-hmm.
Carmella sneaking around, but I'm not gonna go that
Mm-hmm.
far. I'm just gonna pick Natty, and then if that happens, I'll just be like, "See, I told y'all so." We have our WWE title match, as we have the artist Shinsuke Nakamura versus the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal. Didi, who you got?
Ooh. Uh, uh, I'll go with Nakamura.
All right.
I don't know if I really believe it, but I'll go with it.
Don V, who you got, man?
Uh, I want to say Jinder because I know that tour's coming up, but Nakamura.
All right.
Donald.
I'm gonna go with the modern day Maharaja. I
Come
think
on.
the numbers game is gonna be too much. This is a Hell in a Cell match, so the Singh brothers will be in full effect.
Never hinder gender. I'm not mad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Jinder had the gray suit with the pink shirt. He was looking pretty fly this week in his little interview segment. I can tell you this: he may not wrestle like a champion, he may not cut promos like a champion, but he damn sure dresses like one, and that's half the battle.
You gotta look the part. Yeah.
That's right. So we get our first of two Hell in a Cell matches as the New Day defends their WWE World's Tag Team titles against the Trap Usos. So, I should start with Don B this time.
Yes,
Who you got?
please.
No. New Day. New Day.
All right. DD's your name?
Um, um, who has the titles? New Day have them.
Right.
Fuck. Um, that Usos. I don't know.
All right. All right. I'm gonna go with the Usos as well. I think it would be much better for the division if the Usos had the titles and we got some new challengers. So I'm here with the Usos as well.
Okay.
And in our main event, Hell in a Cell, Falls Count Anywhere, Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. Dee are you picking your Silver Fox?
Oh, I hate it when they make me choose. Uh,
This is one of your Baywatch matches, ain't it?
yeah, it is. It's like you got my chunky bay, my heel bay, and then you got my silver fox bay. I don't, I don't. Uh, realistically, it should be Kevin, but Shane is magical. But I don't know. Kevin low key kind of evil. But then again, maybe Vince would come back and do something. Maybe Stephanie don't appreciate people putting their hands on her brother. Maybe it's one of those families where I can hit my brother, you can't hit my brother. I don't know.
That's not gonna suffice for the game that we're playing, ma'am. You're gonna have
Oh
to
my
pick.
gosh. All right, hold on. All right, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. My mother told me to pick. All right, over here. Okay, Kevin.
You shouldn't use that song because tiger was a different word back in the day.
What, nigga?
Mm-hmm.
They ruin everything, man. I tell you. Touch your
Don B.
nigga by the toe. Why are you touching anybody's toes? Toes are disgusting. Anyway, I digress.
All right. Don V. Who you got?
Kevin.
Oh, he said
Kevin.
it confidently.
Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah, Shane's gonna
All
die.
right.
I'm going with Kevin Owens as well. I
So I
think
did all that and we all in a tie. That's a
I
mess.
think this is gonna be the beginning of the Kevin Owens show. He's gonna beat the shit out of Shane, and Shane ain't gonna be able to come on SmackDown for a few months, and Kevin Owens is literally gonna try to take over. Because Daniel Bryan can't do shit but talk. He can't get physical with him, so Kevin Owens can just talk all this trash to him and do whatever he wants, run rough shot, and Daniel Bryan ain't gonna be able to physically do anything. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the SmackDowns that come after Kevin Owens destroys Shane McMahon. So there is our choices and our preview of Hell in a Cell. Again, this Sunday night, 8 p.m. Join us for hashtag Cell Therapy Matters, our official live tweet, and also use the hashtag Say No to Pre-Shows if you join us for the pre-show starting at 7 p.m. So, Didi, did you watch any Global Force Impact,
It
whatever they're
was
calling
it
themselves?
was on, but I didn't actually watch it. They called it the Impact Zone. So I
Okay.
think it was still green. I don't know. And all I saw was Moose was in the car on the phone with somebody, and he was like, "Oh, Bobby Lashley think he gonna beat my ass with his MMA friends and then quit wrestling. That ain't how this gonna go down. I'm gonna whoop that ass. I'm gonna have him look me in my eyeball and something." But then it was like, one of those interstitials, so nothing actually happened. I don't think. And then They still have the matches where like it's Global Force Wrestling versus AAA.
Hmm.
So the main event was Tejano and some luchador, sorry, versus James Storm and EC3. And AAA won. Boom. So
All
Tejano
right.
is a winner.
All
And
right.
that's your 22nd rundown. Yay.
Yay.
Oh, there was a blonde girl and she had on weird makeup. I don't like, you know how like when women wear
Sienna.
really, I don't know. Was her
Okay.
lipstick smeared?
I don't know. I wasn't watching, but I know that I saw on the internet that she was supposed to be making her return.
Maybe that was her. She had on an all black outfit. She was pretty. She was in the stands. It's not like there are that many stands because there's not that many fans, but she was in there. And I guess it was after the match because her lipstick was smeared like she was in a porno, kind of, sort of, just so that you get the aesthetic picture, not calling her a hoe, just so you get the visual. And she was looking a little crazy like Rosemary. And I don't know why all these girls want to look crazy like Rosemary. It's very off putting. But yeah, that's all. That's all that happened.
All right. Just a quick little preview. There is going to be a huge, um, one of the bigger New Japan shows. Actually, they're really their only show coming up in October, as it is going to be the long-awaited King of Pro Wrestling event where Evil gets his title shot against Okada, and that's going to happen on Monday, October the 9th. So looking forward to that. Ishii is also going to wrestle Naito, so that should be pretty fun. It should be actually a pretty good card. Um, Okada has been kind of on the edge of losing here for like the past few weeks, and he's taken a lot of punishment to maintain and hold on to his title. So we're really getting close to like, he may lose, and Evil has really been giving him the blues over the last like 6 weeks worth of matches that they've had. So the card is going to be I'll give you the major matches here. We're going to have junior tag team title match between Taguchi and Ricochet versus Roppongi Vice 3K. So a new version of Roppongi Vice, as Trent Beretta has gone on to the heavyweights, and now Rocky Romero is going to get a new tag team partner. We're going to have a tag team title match between the champions, a triple threat between Killer Elite Squad, War Machine, and Gorillas of Destiny. You're going to have Yoshihashi, Beretta, and Jado versus Kenny Omega, Cody, and Marty Skrull. Hiroshi Tanahashi and Makabe are going up against Kota Ibushi and Juice Robinson. Hopefully, this spirals out into Kota Ibushi facing Tanahashi in January, I hope, because really like November and December they kind of use them for their tag team stuff. So hopefully this program gets into the Tokyo Dome January 4th rather. So that'd be cool. Junior heavyweight title match between Kushida and Will Ospreay, and that could probably be the match of the night. We're gonna have Naito basically has the New Japan version of Money in the Bank, and he will be putting that on the line against Ishii. And like I said, the main event will be for the IWGP Championship as we have Okada versus Evil. So you guys tune in, follow, subscribe to Caster Strong Style, and me and Moto will be breaking this event down and being giving a review this weekend. So you guys be on the lookout for that. And that's a little bit of New Japan, a little bit of New Japan reporting. We usually don't get a chance to talk about it, but I'll slide it in since we got a few minutes on the end here. So at this point, I'll open it up to Don V. Don V, shout outs, thank yous.
First off, thank you to y'all two for having me on the show again. Also, Sam and Classic and everybody that be in the hashtags every week. Shout out to y'all.
All right. Miss Didi Jonay, your shout outs and thank yous.
Shout out to all my ladies aglow. Shout out to Don Victor. Shout out to you, Don. Shout out to Sam, Greg, Chairman, shout out to everybody who was at Bourbon Ball because you look like you had a good time. And then shout out to Bruno Mars giving the best fucking concert I've ever fucking seen. Thank you
Ooh.
ever so much.
Oh yeah, I gotta talk to you about next week because
Son,
next
my mama
Thursday
was crying.
I'll be there.
She was crying because she's an older lady.
Hmm.
Harmonies gets at her. She loves a good vocal, and Bruno with his singers. Oh shit, she was done for.
Yeah, I heard this one doesn't have as much dancing into it. It's more like a old school kind of show where he's doing a lot more singing and you
It's
know.
still a lot of dancing. It's still a lot of movement.
Okay.
It's still a lot of movement. You
Yeah.
won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it.
It's gonna be fucking lit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking lit because it's the first day of our state fair and it's all in the same area. So it's gonna be crazy. So, you know, people gonna be out there eating turkey legs and fried Oreos during the day, and then they gonna come over and jam out to Bruno Mars in the evening. So it's gonna be a full day.
Wow. They
Yeah,
are gonna have a good fucking time.
yeah. I'm looking forward. I've been looking forward to this for like a whole year since they announced the show last year. So can't wait. Glad that you went and you said it was awesome. I've seen Bruno Mars 2 years ago. It was fantastic when
Uh-huh.
yeah, but this was like kind of like the Super Bowl show. It was like a lot
Right.
of dancing, a lot of
It
wardrobe
was
changes.
it was not no, only two wardrobe changes, a little bit of I would call it a lot of dancing, a lot of pyro, a lot of flames, a lot of smoke, a lot of fire. It was a moment. I will say though that the time he it said it started at 8. He didn't really start till 9:15. His opening act did like all her songs.
Uh,
All of them.
well,
I thought
hey,
she only had about two. She got about 8. And that's okay.
hey, man, you're on tour with Bruno Mars. Got to get it in.
Listen, I'm not mad. She did her little thing with her little off the shoulder outfit. I'm not mad at her at all.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. My shout outs and thank you. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Classic. Shout out to Greg. Shout out to Mel, because Mel always gets shout outs.
Mm-hmm.
Shout shout outs to everybody here on CSPN over at Crown and Collards and Ratchet Ramblings, Beer It Is, Gridiron Gals, No Score, Wheeling and Dealing, Riding and Rolling, Classic Team Up. So everybody that's producing content for the network, big shout out to y'all. Big shout out to the Glow. Big safe travels to Jade to the Max, doing her traveling thing like she always does. Shout out to Kisa and Queen Mel Mindy and Jupiter Julep and Simi and all y'all that make up the Glow. We definitely appreciate y'all. And like Don V said, everybody else who's always in the hashtags, live tweets. We definitely appreciate y'all. Please, if you listen on iTunes, give us 5 stars, rate and review, give us a good review so we can get more listeners. And more listeners mean, more opportunities to do our thing and spread our love and our community to everybody. So, so, um, for
Oh my
oh,
God.
what happened?
I have $100 in my Oh my God.
Shit.
Let a brother
Congrats.
borrow 50.
No. Oh shit.
Look at you getting blessings at the end of the show.
I'm over here trying to pay my rent. And they talk about it's a fee for my debit card. So I was like, oh, let me find my bank information. So I'm looking for my damn checks because who writes checks anymore?
Old
Oh
lady
my.
gang
Exactly. Oh my fucking God.
done stashed the cool bins. You didn't even know it.
Why do I have that? Won't he
That's what
do it? Won't the
that's what I
Lord
call
work for you?
happy hour money.
He may not come when you want him, but he will be there right the fuck on time. Listen, I can't even find the checks. It don't much matter. Oh my God.
And so, for Dee Dee counting all her blessings, Don V, I'm Don Delarente, and this has been episode 154 of the Wrasslecast. Stay tuned for the parting promo.
Fuck. Yo.
That was a great ending.
Yo, I'm so confused though.